Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the V Club here, the Villain Club as it's known. But I just say the V Club just sounds easier, and I can't say villain. I can't name it Villain Club, and then how many different channels have Villain Club? I might call it VC though. But anyhow, this is about anything and everything. Nothing's off the table. I will answer to any sort of questions that may come. I will give you my opinion on what I think about certain things. And there's always so much things to talk about that I like to express what I think truly what people are thinking. But they don't either want to express it or maybe they can't express it. So I do that job for them. Because I am for the people. But anyhow, let's talk about it here. Alright, let's get started. Without further ado, let me see here. I got some images here. Oh yeah, here we go. Here we go. Subscribe. Hit the bell icon. That way you can stay on top of everything we got going on the daily. All right, so that's what we got there. I got so many different images here. Look at that. All right, so let's get started here. All right, so we all know that back on Friday, Miss Kamala visited the border. All right, well, she visited Arizona and then she went to the border. All right. When I look at her, she's looking more and more Indian every day, right? Because she is of Indian descent. She's looking more and more Indian. Wait, look at her, doesn't she? She's looking more and more Indian. All right, but anyhow, um, I mean, really though, I don't see any black in her. All right, if she's Jamaican and Indian, how's she black? I'm just saying. Um, It's like me. Like I look nothing like I'm Russian, but some people think I'm Russian descent, and it's because of my height and size. I don't know how they think that, but that's what they think, and I'm like, I don't roll with that. I'll just say, okay, I'll just claim to be Russian then, like how she claims to be black, right? Anyhow, that's just besides the point. Let's talk about this whole border stuff, right? So we all know that Trump had his enforcement, right? And then he didn't get reelected when Biden came to office. He even pledged during debates and stuff that we should open up the border, and first thing he's gonna do is open up the border because we are America and this is what we do, right? That sort of bullshit that he said. Um, and so first day in office, he rolled back like 90 something executive orders that Trump had in regards to the immigration, the border, and all that stuff. And the floodgates opened. It was like the Red Sea parted and opened up the channels and doorways of everybody coming into the border. All right, so to the tune of on the low side 10 million, I guess on the high side 20 million have come into the border. So you can take it for what it's worth on the number part, but at least 10 million plus. All right, that's a lot when you think about that. In 4 years, 10 million plus people have come in through the border, and Kamala here is the vice president, right, from with Biden, right, the Biden Harris ticket, and she was appointed border czar, and they deny the liberal progressive media deny that she was appointed border czar, but I remember hearing it. They probably erased all the different written sources, but I'm telling you, we could unearth one day. We will unearth and find that footage, whether it's written media, um, social media, video, whatever, where it was said that Biden appointed her as border czar. But whatever it is, they deny it, right? And she says that, oh, well, she wasn't in charge of the border. She was to look to the border to see what was the root cause, right? And so, I've talked about this before in other videos about her and her border stuff, is that if she was to find out what the root cause is, has she found it yet? Because we haven't heard a thing about her research and investigating on the root cause at all. How about someone ask her that question? Like, so did you find out what the root cause is yet? Well, why everybody's surging to the border? Um, yeah, everybody's surging to the border because Biden opened the gates. So if you open up the gate, almost like a free pass to come on through, well, what do you think? Everybody's surging the border. So this is the point. This is the part I don't get about the government, though. If it's supposed to be for asylum seekers, how are people from China coming in, from all these different countries that are not really in some sort of war or political sort of situations, just more of an economic situation, poorer countries from Africa, South America, China, India. I mean, they're coming from all over the globe through the borders. All right, but how is that asylum seeking? So wouldn't that just be a rejection at the border? I don't get how they're just letting everybody in. All right, so we all know that she never found the root cause because she never talked about it. She never. I think this visit to the border is now like her maybe second time ever at the border. That's sad. For being a vice president, especially to be put in charge whether you're supposed to address root cause or if you are actually the border czar, which I believe you are, I don't get how you never go to the border. And so this past Friday when she went to the border and was only here to talk to a couple agents for like 20 minutes, they even said that she didn't even really speak to the leaders of, upper management of Border Patrol, the bosses, to really speak to them about what's happening here, except you speak to a couple of agents, down a little bit away, so you can't even hear what they're talking about on camera. Just for a photo op. And just to say, hey, I went to the border to visit. I mean, she's proven to be a she's proven to be a failure at this stuff, and she's only here for a publicity stunt to make it look like she cares or whatever bullshit she thinks she's doing. All the lies, all the perpetrating that first trip to the U.S. border in 3 years, because she's only been there maybe once, right? So it really amounts to nothing. That she doesn't even care about the border. So let's see here. What is this about? What Kamala didn't tell you about her immigration plans. Let's see what this is. I'm curious.
Arizona, a small town on the US-Mexico border. I followed Kamala Harris down here for what is the Vice President's first trip to America's southern border in 3 years.
It's good to be back in Arizona. It is good to be back in Arizona.
Miss Harris's choice of Arizona for her visit was strategic. This is a critical battleground state in the
Yeah, definitely. It was just definitely that's the intent. Was it's a strategy because it is a battleground state. It borders California, it borders Nevada. And they're both blue states. Arizona's been kind of in between all the last few years.
November's presidential election. Joe Biden won this state by the narrowest of margins in 2020, and Donald Trump currently leads in polls this time around, although very narrowly. I've just been watching her hold a rally here where she promised to take tough action on border security and reducing illegal immigration.
And that's the argument with that, is that, well, if the current administration's in office and then they allowed it to happen, then what would make her stop doing that now? Because she is an extension of the current Biden administration that, if she was to win, well, you technically would just carry on Biden policies, turn it up a few notches to a Harris extremism. And to me, nothing would be solved because she would continue to allow this to happen, the whole illegal immigrants crossing the border. And she's going to say there's nothing you could do about it, because she could have done something about it over the last 3 years, but nothing has been done. But all of a sudden now she wants to do something about it as lip service because Trump is saying it and people are saying it. And you know how she is. She's just trying to win votes.
As your president, I will protect our nation's sovereignty, secure our border, and work to fix our broken system of immigration.
That's the problem I got too. I got a problem with that, because if you're going to fix the problem, fix the immigration, by stemming the flow does not fix this situation, a broken system. What needs to be done is to close the border, because we've already got enough. 10 to 20 million is a lot to work with. Close the damn border, and that will stem the illegal immigration, obviously, right? Because you're closing the border. But it'll also stem the flow of drugs coming in the border, because they're going to find some other means to bring it over the border. If it's a closed border, they can't do nothing about it. So the drugs won't be coming in either.
It's all part of an attempt by the Democratic presidential candidate to confront a key weakness she has in the White House race, with polls showing her consistently behind Donald Trump on the issue of border security and illegal immigration.
It was all done by Comrade Kamala Harris.
Exactly.
In her speech tonight, Ms. Harris promised tighter curbs on asylum seekers and tough penalties for those who cross the border illegally, and particularly for those who do so repeatedly.
Those who cross our borders unlawfully will be apprehended and removed and barred from re-entering for 5 years. We will pursue...
Wait a second. Wait a second. So if they come across illegally, they all are coming across illegally, so will they all be banned for 5 years? I don't think so. I don't think she's going to carry through this.
More severe criminal charges against repeat violators. And if someone does not make it 5 years, we will pursue...
Let me back this up a bit.
Severe. Those who cross our borders unlawfully will be apprehended
That's everybody.
and removed and barred from re-entering for 5 years. We will pursue more severe criminal charges against repeat violators. And if someone does not make an asylum request at a legal point of entry and instead crosses our border unlawfully, they will be barred from receiving asylum.
At the same time...
What's she doing? Now she's pandering? Come on. She's pandering for votes because they've allowed everybody and their mama in, all right? She's just really kissing ass, pandering for votes.
She promised a humane approach to the immigration system and talked about a pathway to citizenship for hard-working immigrants who have been here for years.
And as president, I will work with Congress to create, at long last, a pathway to citizenship for hard-working immigrants who have been here for years.
What's
It's all part
illegal
of the
is still
delicate
illegal.
balance Kamala Harris is trying to tread as she seeks to win the White House with a broad voter coalition. For all the careful calibration of Kamala Harris's trip here and the message that she sought to deliver, it may not be enough to sway voters' image of her as someone who can't be trusted on border security. Donald Trump's response to her trip here today may resonate more. He asked why Kamala Harris, after almost 4 years in office, had not already enacted the proposals she was putting forward tonight.
Exactly.
But unlike Kamala, who always complains and doesn't do anything, I keep saying, why don't you do? I saw Marcia the other day. Why didn't she do it 4 years ago almost?
Exactly. All this stuff she's talking about now is like, why didn't you just do it? You can still do it. You can still do this now, but you're not doing it. That's the problem. And so, yeah, it's just a complete strategy to try to win a swing state, try to pander for votes, and bottom line is she doesn't care, and she's not going to do all that because she advocates for open borders. She advocates for all this stuff. She's advocating to fuck everybody over in the United States is what she's doing. And so this is the problem. All right. We've already got enough as it is with our taxpayer money paying for these illegals to be in our country on our dime, paying for their living, their food, their expenses, and health care, sex change operations, all this other bullshit. All right. Enough is enough. All right. I'm all about deportation because if you really want to do what Kamala says, right, in terms of you got to be coming over here to seeking asylum, while meanwhile the floodgates are open, let's round them all up, send them all back, start all over again. You know, and I think that's the best way to go because Donald Trump said it best a few years ago. He even said they're letting the prisons out. They're not going to be sending their best, when it comes to illegals coming in. I mean, that was a bold, prediction, bold, revelation about what may be coming. And he called it perfectly when he said, hey, they're not letting their best out. They're opening up the prisons. You're going to see the worst people coming into the country. And it's all true. And it's only that and then some, right? I mean, when you look at, they said, over 300,000 children, unaccompanied minors, have come through the border. And they got processed through, but don't know where they are, where their whereabouts. None of that stuff, right? Wow. So, very interesting how that is, too. Man, you guys got to wake up because all the stuff that she's proposing, in a sense proposing, because she hasn't really talked about everything in full, it's pretty aggressive, progressive, and where it comes to like the taxing on capital gains, raising business taxes, corporate tax, inflation, right? Printed out money. Here's a handout, this, handout that. It's just going to get worse and worse and worse and worse if you guys vote for her. So anyhow, that was just her Panderfest visit to try to get some last-minute strategic way of coming through to a swing state. But Arizona knows better. They're tired of the bullshit too. They're tired of the illegals coming in. They're tired of all the crap. Enough is enough. But anyhow, I just wanted to talk about that. Let me know what you think. All right, and share with me your thoughts. I'm all game. You can agree with me or disagree with me, or we can agree to disagree, or all that good stuff. All right. So other than that, tune in for the next one. Thanks. I'll see you next one.